Sawadee krap. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by PSE Windows and Doors. It's Monday, January 14th, and I'm your host, JP Mestanza. We'll start off with a few scenes from Saturday's 27th Annual National Children's Day celebrations that took place at the Laguna, Phuket over the weekend. Live performances, some carnival games, and much more all took place over on Saturday. We got a lot to get to, so now let's get started. Police still have yet to press any charges for the deadly collision on Chao Phraya West Road in November that killed two tourists when the motorbike they were riding on slammed into a car making a U-turn at night. The accident shortly before midnight back on November 29 saw one car make a deadly U-turn near the entrance to Landon Houses Park Phuket in Chalong, as the driver of the motorbike, 26-year-old Amin Halimi, was unable to avoid the collision, and he and his passenger, Zara Yauchinkaya, both died in the impact. Despite the driver of the car, Sudapon Nontawat, confessing to driving carelessly, police told the Phuket News that they are still investigating, say they need relatives of the victims to clear the compensation paperwork first, and that no application has been submitted to the Phuket Prosecutor's Office to formally press charges for the accident. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Since 2016, there have been plans to construct two U-turned flyovers in Phuket, both on Tepkasatri Road, which would have been the first ever above-ground infrastructure projects on the island. But after a meeting with residents last week, those plans are about to change. The two U-turn flyovers would have been in Koh Keo, with the other in Mudokeo, just north of Talang town. But at a public feedback meeting last week and presented with the option to have ground-level U-turns instead, residents voted their support for that, saying it would be cheaper and look better than the flyovers. The vote comes at a critical time for the project, which has already been delayed when it was learned that the flyovers would have been built near historical sites, which the public needed to know by law. The project is currently being examined through an environment impact assessment study, but they are considered critical in alleviating traffic jams in the busiest road in Phuket, Tepkasatri Road. A formal complaint is being filed over the death of a British CEO of an 800 million baht high-end housing development in Phuket, as his family insists that he was murdered, calling on police to investigate. Stephen James Granville died last year after spending 4 years brain dead in a UK hospital following a horrific bike accident in June of 2013. And his family, through their lawyer, is asking police to investigate two former business partners who were involved in a resort project in 2012. The project saw the pair ask Granville to transfer 99% of the resort's shares, worth over 1 billion baht, since his criminal record in another deal, for which he served 18 months in a Thai prison, would affect their project, promising to return the shares within 6 months following a deal. But his accident took place less than 3 months after the transfer of the shares, and his family are highly suspicious. For more on this story, read the entire thing at thephuket.news.com. Phuket Extra will be right back after this. Welcome back to Phuket Extra. Canada stepped up and offered Saudi female runaway Rahaf Mohammed Al Qunun asylum over the weekend, and the teen landed in the northern country on Saturday, less than a week after fleeing her, quote, abusive family. Al Qunun fled her family last week, landing in Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport on her way to seek asylum in Australia. When she landed, she was met with officials who escorted her to a hotel room nearby until they can figure out what to do. And in that room, she went on Twitter to tell her story, galvanizing support through social media, and she was quickly under the protection of the UN Human Rights Agency. The UN classified her as a legitimate refugee just days later, escaping her Saudi family, whom she says would, quote, kill her if she went back. And after refusing to meet with her dad, who flew to meet her in Thailand, officials looked for a country to offer her refuge. And it wasn't until Friday that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that they would accept her. Al Qunun arrived in Toronto on Saturday and was met at the airport by Canada's ironically named Foreign Minister, Chrystia Freeland, all smiles, and Al Qunun refused to take questions from the media. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The leopard cat that was found severely hurt in front of My Cow Graveyard on December 31st and transported to Soy Dog Foundation on January 1st for treatment has passed away. The feline had suffered serious brain damage when it got hit by a car, according to a statement from Soy Dog, and it died at about 9:30 a.m. on January 11th, last Friday, from complications. The cat, which was given the nickname Happy Tiger, was an indigenous wildcat, and experts had hoped to release it back into the wild after it recovered. The violence in southern Thailand continues. This time a police sergeant was killed by insurgents during an attack in broad daylight yesterday at a police station in Narathiwat province. CCTV footage captured the attack at about 12:30 p.m., which saw at least 6 men on motorbikes drive up to the police station in Kopo district and open fire with military-grade weapons from the front entrance of the parking lot, an attack that took less than a minute, but it was enough to kill Police Sergeant Chalong at the scene. Police are now on a manhunt for the suspects, believing that insurgents are responsible following several attacks last week, including 2 bombings in which 1 man was killed and several others were sent to the hospital, and a separate shooting at a school in which 4 defense volunteers died near a class full of kids. The shooting also comes after a warning by the Internal Security Operations Command, or ISOC, that attacks by insurgents could take place between the 13th of January to the 15th of January in 3 districts of Narathiwat province, including the one in which yesterday's attack took place. And that's it for Phuket Extra, brought to you by PSD Windows and Doors. For safe, secure, and soundproof windows, visit pvcphuket.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, click that subscribe button to check out all of our future videos. And if you're watching us on Facebook, give us a like on the Phuket News page. From all of us here at the Phuket News Center, thank you for watching, and until tomorrow, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000 and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks and mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.